The sine law is a trigonometric formula that we use to find unknown sides or angles in triangles that don't have a right angle. So SOHCAHTOA would not apply if we do not have a right angle in our triangle. One method to find our unknown angles and sides is the sine law, and we can use the sine law in two different cases. One is when we're given two sides and an angle that is not contained between those two sides. And a contained angle in the first diagram would be here. A non-contained angle would be one like 108 degrees that's not trapped between the two sides that we know the length of. Case 2, or the second set of circumstances under which we can use the sine law, is when we're given two angles and then any side of the triangle, because of course if we're given two angles, we can take 180 degrees minus the other two angles and get the third angle. So we really have all three angles and a given side. So in either one of those circumstances, we can use the sine law. The sine law is simply a ratio. It can be written in one of two ways, and either way is fine to use in every circumstance. We're only going to use two parts of the ratio at a time, but the sine law simply states that the ratio of A to sine A is equivalent to the ratio of B to sine B, or the ratio of B to sine B is equivalent to the ratio of C to sine C, or the third possibility is A over sine A equals C over sine C. So as long as you pair them up, it doesn't matter which sides and angles you're pairing up in that formula. You're just always going to use two of them, not all three at the same time. The bottom formula is just another version of the formula at the top. Some people prefer to have the unknown on the top of the formula, so if you're looking for an angle, they would use the bottom formula. If you're looking for a side, you would use the top formula. It really doesn't matter, and you'll get the right answer either way. So here's an example of a case where we would use the sine law to find what we're being asked to find, and that is angle A, which is marked as theta, and that's our unknown here. And so since we're trying to find angle A, we could write sine A over side A equals sine B, because that's the other angle that we're given information about, over side B. So sine A is our unknown. We're going to leave that as A. Side A is 16. For sine B, I'm going to substitute sine of 108 degrees there. And side B is always the side across from angle B, which is 21 in this case. Now there's a little trick that you can use to do your solution here before you put it in your calculator. It's called the Z pattern by some teachers. If you just start at your unknown and make the letter Z, then you're going to multiply the first two numbers and you're going to divide by the number that's left over, which is the 21. So in this case we have sine of A, and that's going to be 16 times the sine of 108, and we're going to take that answer and divide by 21. When we do that, we get sine of A equals 0.7246. Remember that all sine and cosine values have to be less than 1. And in order to find the angle, we're going to use the function sine inverse on your calculator, and we're going to put in 0.7246, and it's going to tell us that angle A is equal to approximately 46.4 degrees. For this question, we're being asked to find a side, and again, we're given information about angle A, side A, angle B and side B. And so this time I'm trying to find side B, so I'm going to write B over sine B equals A over sine A. B is x, sine B is 108. Sorry, sine B is sine of 108. A is 16, and angle A is 24, so we want sine of 24 here. Using our Z pattern trick again, we're going to multiply 16 times the sine of 108, and then we're going to divide by the sine of 24. So in this case, we end up with x equals 37.4, and that's the side length of the large side x. Keep in mind with trigonometry that the largest angle is always across from the largest side, and the smallest angle is always across from the smallest side. So that's a good way to check and make sure your answers are correct or in the right ballpark. If you need help with this or any other math topic, please contact me at mathhelp@trentu.ca for an in-person or an online appointment.